I love Formula 1. The speed, the power, the innovation, the fastest cars driven around the best circuits by the quickest drivers, wheel to wheel. The thrill of watching them fight and dice with each other at insane speeds gets my heart racing with excitement equal to seeing Michelle Pfeiffer in Batman Returns.
Meow.
Formula 1 is a global sport that's held races on every permanently inhabited continent on Earth. Its viewing figures are only matched by the Olympics. With that reach comes power, money, influence, and issues. So let me guide you through Formula 1, the worst thing that I love. What, did you think I was going to miss an opportunity to look hot? This video is going to focus on the here and now, the problematic aspects present in what's been an absolutely fantastic year of racing, as we come to the close of the 2021 championship. Like how it's defying social movements through symbolic gestures like the We Racers One campaign, without addressing any of the underlying causes. Its tacit support of horrific authoritarian and fascist regimes, and its active role in sports washing their image, and the backwards and frankly confusing plans that Formula 1's management have in the face of the fact that we're living in the first half of an apocalypse brought on by, the oil and automotive industries it's built on, relies on, and promotes. I know, starting off light, each of these aspects are worthy enough of videos on themselves, and they will be getting them. But for now, we're just focusing strictly on the present. So, let's dig in. We Racers 1 is Formula 1's current equality campaign, and it kinda sucks. It's pretty much just a symbolic gesture, designed in reaction to wider social movements, and certain drivers supported them. Specifically, Lewis Hamilton's involvement in the Black Lives Matter protests in 2020. They announced it with the aim to fight challenges of COVID-19 and global inequality a couple of weeks before the first race of the year. I imagine as a way to stop any overt statements made by the drivers, to placate them. Didn't quite work though. The drivers met up before the first race and discussed kneeling. 14 of them decided to do so. The internet of course had some reactions. The FIA flailed around a bit before settling on making a bland video of all the drivers saying some minor platitudes and letting them do a gesture before a race in like a designated political expression zone. The bizarre nature of making what was a direct political statement connected to a specific movement, Black Lives Matter, made by Lewis Hamilton and other drivers, into a toothless 30-second video and a weird scheduled "You may now express vague political messages that we priorly approved of" segment before each race can be explained by the fact that Formula 1 is inherently an advertising platform. It's owned by billionaires that don't actually want to address these structural issues, because these structural issues are what made and keeps them billionaires. Organisationally, it also doesn't want to upset the countries it visits either, as they tend to pay Formula 1 a ludicrous amount of money. In this, the year of our terrifying and alluring genderless friend with benefits, 2021, Formula 1 has 2 new locations on its calendar. Formula 1 isn't exactly a stranger to countries ruled by monsters, but that fact's been brought into greater focus by the fact that this year they're going to the undisputed tyrants of sports washing, Saudi Arabia and Qatar. Rightfully pointed out as hypocritical by many a race fan, going to such countries where human rights can be boiled down to lol what, with an ongoing campaign against inequality, really shows the true motivating factor for those that run the sport. Money. Saudi Arabia, through its state-owned oil company Aramco, is already a major sponsor to the sport at large, paying an estimated $40 million a year for global partner rights, getting to put the name on stuff, to Formula One for 10 years. Both Saudi Arabia and Qatar practice what is effectively slavery. Neither are democracies, they have harsh limits on women's rights, and me just existing in either country, well, I'm sure we all know the phrase be gay do crime. They tend to take that a bit more seriously. F1 occasionally slips the mask on what they're willing to do for a government too, like how Sebastian Vettel got reprimanded for wearing a kind of pride looking t-shirt that said same love on it. That was blatantly a way to appease the notoriously homophobic and pretty damn fashy Hungarian Orban government. Sebastian Vettel and Lewis Hamilton also deserve respect though for very publicly supporting LGBTQ+ rights in both Qatar and Saudi Arabia. Although, as Hamilton himself noted, having a pride flag on a helmet doesn't really do a lot on its own. You know what, let's take a look at some of the other countries that Formula One visits, whereas if I was to do the same, it could be considered an over-elaborate form of masochism. The reason so many of these countries want major sporting events is frankly to distract from their horrific abuses. It's the same reason why Saudi Arabia has a WWE pay-per-view event and Qatar is hosting next year's World Cup. It's called sports washing. These events are intended to give legitimacy and a shine of acceptability to these regimes to the global community. Well, the global north. That validation means more money through tourism, people willing to do business with them, and through making their propaganda more viable. Saudi Arabia is the world's largest emitter of greenhouse gases and funds a lot of climate change denial. They directly profit from that because, you know, oil. It's tempting to say capitalism here is a critique to Formula One's strategy for sustainability. However, if I was being super reductive, I could use that critique for all of Formula One's problems. So let's be a little more detailed. Formula One's current plan is to introduce new engines in 2025, which I feel are a step backward on the current ones, but still, and to replace the current fuel with what it calls a 100% sustainable drop-in fuel, which will be made in a lab and designed to be used in conventional petrol engines. That all sounds okay. Well, it would if sustainable fuels didn't suck shit. Basically, they're real expensive, take up a shit ton of arable land to make hardly any, and they're just not as efficient. Look, it's a hell of a lot better than fossil fuels, but frankly, they need to move away from hydrocarbons full stop. They won't, though, because, money? All these oil countries pumping money into Formula One not only ensure that they manage to get sports washed and hold races in the countries, they also inextricably link Formula One to the oil industry. I mean, to an extent, that's going to happen one way or another, with Formula One being cars. But the Bahraini royalty being a major stakeholder in McLaren, Petronas being the title sponsor of Mercedes, Uralkali being Haas's title sponsor, also with the majority stakeholder of Oral Carry, Dmitry Mazepin, paying to keep the team together and to give his shithead talentless son an F1 drive. Ferrari having the entire theme park devoted to them in Abu Dhabi, and of course Saudi Arabia's current investment. Formula One is not so much indebted to the oil industry and these tyrants as it is a toy for them. A plaything where they can hide their bad intentions, because all of these things I've talked about here are linked. Formula One can't exactly truly promote equality and systemic changes for justice when the people that own them also depend on those systems and abuses for their power and wealth. When they run countries that practice slavery, execution, torture and outright murder, they can use F1 to rehabilitate their image and to continue to promote to the world the poison that made them rich and is killing us all. But it didn't start that way. Grand Prix racing started with, chaps, the rich, a lot of deaths, it was used as propaganda a bit as well. Oh, shit. I'm recording. Yes, baby. I do love you. But I need to do things, you know that.